naval dragons would not see them. Like, I love these people
Test 1, 2, 1, 2.
That's what we.
Welcome everybody to the chamber lunch today. Our president is not able to join us today, and so our vice president is going to take over and run the lunch today. Please welcome Joyce Worrell.
The water parking party is done.
There we go. Now? Are we on?
Test 1, 2,
There we
1,
go.
2.
I don't know that I need one of these, but we'll just go with it.
What'd you say?
Hello, Jake. Well, welcome everybody today. I just learned about this 5 minutes ago, so we'll just go with this flow.
I don't want to make you nervous.
Because I'm really used to doing this over the years, so this works for me. So, first off, we'd like to start with welcoming every one of you here today. It's a pleasure to see all of you people I love. And let's start off with Elaine for introductions with your name and your organization.
And then just pass it along.
My name is Elaine Clam, and I'm here representing the city of Tenino.
Okay, welcome Elaine. Is this for your first time in a chamber meeting?
No.
Yes.
It is? Okay, well,
You've been
welcome,
before.
welcome you very much.
Welcome, Elaine. I'm Wayne Fournier, your Thurston County Commissioner.
I'm Cheryl Fournier. Me.
Matt Ramsey, Thurston County. Clint Indica, proud superintendent of the Tenino School District.
John Calhoun representing the great city of Tenino.
I'm Davina, and I represent the Kodiak Room 1776 and Redwood Doulas.
I'm James Reddick with the Park Foundation of Thurston County, who works with the city tonight on parks.
I'm Daisha Gilmore with Daisha Dog Training.
And our newest member.
Yay.
Dan Fisher, the Tenino Independent.
And I'm Jenny Hall with Hall Crystal Flutes, Tenino Arts, and Tenino Young Art Theater, and also the White Performing Arts Memorial Scholarship Fund.
Jennifer Ferguson, Ferguson Insurance Services, also Tenino Arts, and Rebuilding Together Thurston County.
Nate Ramos, Timberland Regional Library.
Avery Champagne, I'm a guest today with Radiant Health Chiropractic.
Dave Champagne, Castle Realty.
Maggie Sanders, Port of Olympia Commissioner.
I'm Bill Lanker, I'm director of the Tenino Stone Carvers Guild.
Keith Phillips, Stone Carver Guild.
And who are you?
I'm George Sharp. I'm with the Thurston Economic Development Council, and we have a contract with the Tenino Chamber for me to serve as a staff member to the Tenino Chamber.
Okay, great. Well, welcome again, everybody. I ask now for the approval of the agenda. You all should have an agenda in front of you. And are there any additions or changes that anybody would like to make at this time?
Move approval. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Okay, motion approved. So, I would like to welcome our Thurston County District 4 Commissioner, Wayne Fournier, and I only know him as my favorite mayor of Tenino. And I love him for what he's done for the businesses here in Tenino. So, I give you a heartfelt welcome.
Thanks, Joyce. I have some canned remarks, and then I'll just answer questions and BS with you guys. As was mentioned, I'm Wayne Fournier, and I have the honor of representing Tenino in South Thurston County. Now I'm looking at this. This is a small crowd. And there's a lot of extra just fluff in here. I'm just going to kind of cruise through things. Yeah.
It might be interesting.
Well, I mean, that's the extras. Oh, there's no denying that we've done well, blah, blah, blah. The growth is possible because of confidence you all show in the vision. As leaders, we all need to continue moving forward. I think that's important. Times are changing, and there's kind of been a shift in a lot of things. And, you know, whether it's at the federal level, at the local level, there's differences. The landscape is changing. So it is important that we stay united and we keep on track with the vision that we've all built together, right? So, you know, continuity is very, very important. And you get things done when you stick to a plan and you keep moving forward. So whether it's a shift in the winds at the federal level or a change in the Tenino City Council's temperament or ideas, a group like this is very, very, very important for keeping continuity. And it's important that the chamber's empowered and has a strong voice. So like, you know, John O'Callahan, how long have you been on the Tenino City Council?
Since '96.
Since 1996. You told me the other day you're not thinking about running again. That's a scary proposition.
I told him he had to.
I think he has to too, but he's also, you know, he's in 2 positions, right?
Yeah.
He's on the commission or the fire commissioners, and he's on the city council. You can't be on the ballot twice. So he's in a position where he's got to choose one, or he's got to say, you know, I'm going to retire, and he has every right to do that. And I tip my hat to anybody that's done anything for as long as he does, and I support him in whatever decision he makes. But there's going to be a big hole to fill somewhere in Tenino, whether it's on the council or at the fire commission or whatever. And groups like this need to start thinking about how that affects them and how that affects the vision that they've built into how Tenino's doing things. Because we want a very, you know, we've all worked together to build a very commercial, heavy, very business-friendly community because it's important. Tenino's tax base is very limited in property taxes, so the only real growth we'll ever see in revenue is through commercial activity and commercial development. That's why we put so much initiative into the ag park. That's why we created programs like the facade improvement program, and we put a lot of emphasis on the importance of the chamber, because if that's not building up, if that commercial if that commercial existence isn't being given love all over the place, it's gonna wither. You know, entropy is a real thing. If you're not putting energy into something, it will die down. So it is very important that you guys lobby for your interests at every level. Yesterday we had Matt's looking at me because I'm not reading the speech today. Help me, right? He's like, I told you not to go off script. And I said, Matt, I don't stay on script, especially in Tenino. And so at our commissioner meeting yesterday, there was a huge presence from Tenino. And it was awesome. The Tenino FFA was there, and they gave amazing speeches. I was almost in tears, because there were kids that I watched give speeches 3 years ago at other events, and seeing them improve and the engagement level that they're ready to go at. We had members of the real estate community that were there talking about the Board of Equalization, not answering the phone calls. We had other Tenino community members that were there saying things aren't getting done the way that we expect them. That is huge. That's important. I want more of that at the county, and I want you guys to make sure you're doing that at the city level too. Think about if John doesn't go on the ballot, somebody else with your interests is going to need to be put there. Find them. When I was mayor, like probably 20% of my job was finding the next group of leaders. It was out recruiting people that were at these meetings and showing them how to run for office and telling them how important it was. Who's doing that right now? John's doing it. You all need to be doing it. I know Dave's sitting there thinking, he's like, oh yeah, how am I going to, yep. So that next phase is important. There is lots of stuff that we're doing at the county. We're working on a UGA analysis in 2025. Our team at CPED will begin analyzing the urban growth area for Tenino to make sure it's the right size and the right fit. You have the city boundaries, that is the city limits. Outside of that, there's a buffer called the UGA, where development can occur at urban density outside of the city. That's the only place that can happen. And we want to make sure that it's in the right place for the city. The county has jurisdiction in that. In that UGA, you can have city infrastructure like water, sewer, things like that. Outside of that, you can't do it. So we want to make sure that fits. And it's hard to do that. It takes years to do that. We just finished the UGA expansion in Grand Mountain. It took 10 years. So it is hard, but it's important work. The Thurston County budget in 2025, we're going to be taking a hard look at the county's budget and making necessary adjustments to going into the 2026 budget cycle. Our goal, of course, is to ensure fiscal responsibility while continuing to provide top quality service to our residents. Increasing the creative economy and creative economy support and resources, that's something that's big to me. That's something that we worked on here and we realized how beneficial it is. You know, you can talk to that all day long, I'm sure, right? So, yeah, there's going to be exciting investment opportunities in the creative economy that I'm going to try and build into our work plan. We're looking to create resources and support systems for our creative districts, businesses and artists, helping our region thrive as vibrant. In this vibrant sector when it comes to economic development through the county is an area I believe we can make progress. Thurston County's not big on building warehouses and things like that, and that's fine. That doesn't really fit the you know, kind of the vibe of our county. And you look at other counties that have money, they're doing things where they're doing this building, but it's you get a false sense of revenue when you're doing that because you're paying for growth with the growth, and you might think it's fine. It's almost like a drug where you're just, you know, you're happy and dumb because you're getting this money in. But once the development stops, and it always will, or it changes, that money goes away. We need to do things like we did here in Tenino. We're investing in you know, the economic opportunities where you're building from within. And I feel that the creative sector is that, you know. So, and that can look like a lot of different things. You know, it can be, you know, it can be film, movies. It can also be app development, software development, and getting those people to live here and park their businesses here means you need to have a nice place to live. So that is having events, that is having places to go, nice places to eat. So being a community that builds from within and also attracts people from without. Some of the biggest successes we had tonight over the last 10 years in generating commercial activity was bringing in visitors, right? And that's huge. And you have to keep putting energy into doing that. And I've got some things on that, how we've lost our way on doing some of that. As many of you know, agriculture is another cornerstone of our economy, and I'm working hard to make sure the voices of our ag community are heard. One project you all know, and I'm excited about, is the Ag Park. We've talked about it a lot here. It's nearing completion of phase 1. Once open, it will offer a venue for community sales and events. That generates more money. It'll create more jobs. It generates more money that goes into the city coffers and goes into your businesses. This project has already attracted incredible partnerships, and its success will have lasting impact on South Thurston County, creating jobs, supporting local farms, enhancing our agricultural future. This is a huge win for our region, and it's a testament to what can be achieved when we work together for a brighter future. The federal government has $3.5 million slated to go into their budget to come in and pay for additional infrastructure at the Ag Park, to have meat processing. We've talked about that a lot. That's something that we live in a desert of. So all of our ranchers around here, they can't have their products processed locally. Their costs go up. The amount of business that they can do goes down. So we're looking to fix that. And we got money coming. The county's going to the legislature this year, the state, and asking for another $750,000 to go into that project. So there's energy and money going into the Ag Park still, and we're getting done with the first phase of it, and there's more to come. That will mean more money and more activity and more businesses and more homes and more shoppers. But it takes a while. Additionally, I want to share that Tenino has a unique opportunity this year to apply for community development block dollars, CDBG funds. We've talked about that over the years. This is Tenino's year. This is South County's year. In years past, Tenino and other South Thurston County communities have secured hundreds of thousands of dollars for critical improvements. That's where we got money for the pool, money for the park, money for sidewalks, money for City Hall. Just in Tenino. That's not to mention money into Yelm, Rainier, Bucota. These grants are a great way to fund local projects that make a real difference. I'm looking forward to hearing proposals. So now I'm in a position where you guys come to me and I get to evaluate those proposals and help decide how the funding goes. But you all need to decide what you want. And it is important that groups like this inform your city council members what you want and what you expect. Because you cannot let elected officials make decisions in vacuums. That's a bad idea, right? If I'm not hearing from my constituents, I can get all kinds of crazy ideas of what you want. But unless you're advocating for yourself, saying what your businesses need and what's important to you, you're gonna get decisions made for you, right? So if you're not at the table, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. That applies everywhere. So there's a lot of money that's gonna be made available with the CDBG funds. Work with your council members to make sure that they know what you want and what your expectations are.
Wayne, what's the timeline on that one?
Now. Like those decisions are being made now. So I don't, if you guys, I would imagine, I hope you're talking about that at your city council meetings. I know I've come and I've told you that that's coming. These should be happening in work sessions. Go ahead.
Do you have any proposals yet from the South County?
Nope, we haven't taken them yet. Right now, they should be in their little, city halls, drafting things up, scheming on how they want to do it, and then they come to us with those proposals.
So I think what George was saying, is there a deadline for this?
There will be.
Okay.
I'd also like to touch on a topic that's incredibly important to our future: lodging tax. In 2026, we'll see an additional 2% added to the lodging tax. So last year, this is a tax that is put on people that stay in hotels. It's not a tax that goes on you. It's people that visit our community. And it's a good program, because when you bring more people into the community, it makes more money to bring more people into the community. So in years past, there was a 2%. This last year, we added another 2% assessment. So we went from, we would have about 125 to 150,000 available per year that could go out to communities to help market, promote, pay for events. So Oregon Trail Days, they can come get money from the county to help pay for advertising. We've used it for all kinds of stuff. I think one year I bought chairs with it. George is an expert in it, and he will do this work for you if you ask him.
We've applied for $20,000. The chamber matches that. $10,000 is for marketing Tenino, and $10,000 is for Oregon Trail Days.
So we've usually had about $125,000 to $150,000 a year. Next year, we'll have $250,000 available. I have 2 proposals from Tenino this year. That's it. I don't want to say I was upset, because it is what it is. But I am the chair of the LTAC committee. I get to help decide where that money goes. I want to see Tenino submitting proposals to pay for you guys doing your, the stone cutters rock soup event, for the Young at Heart Theater. They're eligible for that money. The museum is eligible for that money. Tenino itself, just putting promotional videos and doing promotional things, is eligible for that money, but you have to ask for it.
I want $4,000 for my museum.
It's too late. You missed it. But next year, please, there's money. Even though you read in the newspaper that we're at a budget deficit, we still have to give out some of that money. So you've got to be there. You've got to be advocating for yourself. As your county commissioner, I feel it's an immense privilege in representing South Thurston County. It's a responsibility I take very seriously. I'm committed to making sure the unique needs of our small communities are heard and addressed, especially when compared to larger cities. So if we're not advocating for ourselves, they're going to take up all the energy in the room. I will continue working to bring attention to our issues, opportunities, and challenges to ensure we're part of the conversation at the county level, but we need to work together at every step. I want to mention I'm working tirelessly to correct the county's missed opportunities and addressing its growing capital facilities needs. So our buildings are crumbling around us, and then we went into a lease on a building for way too much money that we don't own. So trying to fix that is an issue. I'll probably, or other people will probably be talking to you guys over the next couple of years about making requests. There might be I'm shooting for a much less large bond request, but we're gonna have to ask for money to build a new courthouse and administrative building. Like a couple years ago, they wanted like $400 million. Through creative efforts of our own, we're looking to sell property that we've got and use existing bond money and free up, money that's going into lease payments. I'm hoping that we're going to be shooting for something about half that, but it's still going to be an ask. That's where I'm at. That's what's going on. Other exciting things, fun stuff. I get to do fun stuff too. I'm now on this is one I'm really excited about, the Billy Frank Jr. Statue Committee. So they're going to be putting a new Washington State statue in the Capitol, the U.S. Capitol. So I might get to go as part of like the state's delegation and representative of Washington to go put a new statue in the Capitol statuary. That's like a historic thing. Next week, I'll be in Washington, D.C. for something else, but I'm going to go to the Numismatic Museum in the Smithsonian. So I will get to walk into the Smithsonian. This is cool for you all for this reason. I'm going to walk into the Smithsonian. There's a giant vault that's open, and front and center is Tenino wooden money. And they've got it on display for the whole world to see. And I'm going to get to go there, and I'll take pictures, and I will send it to everybody because our story is important. And this is a little community that can make big waves if we all work together. We've done a lot of stuff and a lot of big things over the last decade and over the last 100 years. So don't be afraid to think big, and don't be afraid to tell your local elected officials what you expect and what you want your community to look like, because we need your input, we need your information. So are there any questions?
Are you looking at an increase of the CDBG grant money? And the reason I ask is because over the years, it's been pretty much stagnant. It sounds like a lot of money until you break it down on different projects, but it stays stagnant.
Yeah.
Prices have not.
That money comes from the feds, and we get that. We have an agreement. The county as a whole, and all of us have an agreement with the federal government to give us a certain amount of money each year. So we gave up our ability to ask for more because we signed it into an MOU regionally to allow us to get it regularly. It's a lot of hard work, especially for Tenino. As the mayor, it's hard to get federal money. There's all these strings attached. So like 10 years ago, we all got together and said we'd give up our ability to ask for an unknown amount of money from the feds once every 20 years to get a smaller amount of money every single year. And so we are eligible for like $1 million once every 3 years, because it goes from us to it would go to Lacey, then it would go to Tumwater. Lacey opted out, so now there's less of us, there's a little less money, but the answer is kind of no, but it's attached to strings that the feds hold.
No, the reason I asked you so that everybody else knows how that works.
Yeah. Anything else? There are offices, like if you guys have questions about, like if John says, hey, I'm not running for office this year, and anybody needs help on understanding how to run for office, I will gladly sit down with anybody. I was thinking about maybe even putting like an open house on to explain to people, because there's 3 city council positions up for election here, and Linda, I don't know if she's gonna run. She's told me she's not going. I hope she does. Jason Lawton, he's like, I don't know if I'm gonna run. That scares the daylights out of me, because that's a lot of experience going out the window. And then, Elaine's great, but how long you been on the council? Yeah, 2 years. I mean, 27. So we need to make sure we're finding good people. The other Jeff has been there like
1 year.
1 year. You would have a city council with very little experience. We haven't had that in 40 years. Before me, we had Frank Anderson, who was up there for like 100 years. So there's a lot of history and a lot of experience that we may potentially be losing. I'm thinking about doing some type of workshop to explain to people how to run for council or run for office and how important that is. If the chamber is interested, I don't know. It's a lot to think about. So, questions, thoughts?
I'll help with that.
I know you would.
I think what would be helpful for recruiting people to those positions is if the current council people or past council people could share some of their experiences, what was expected of them. I think a lot of people think it's over their head or it's going to be, too many meetings, or, you know, maybe if they could give a little inside baseball look at what it's like to be on the city council, what kind of successes they've had, what they liked about it, what needs improvement, that might give people who are not used to it. I've been in one city council meeting and, you know, been on some boards, and, you know, from the outside, it looks like a slow boring of hard wood, because it's just very, you know, Robert's rules aren't exactly exciting to sit and watch. But
when it's going well, it's boring. When it's going bad, I don't want to say it's fun, but it's kind of exciting and entertaining. So yeah.
Hey, we can have fun.
So maybe if we do some kind of workshop or something, that could be an element of it, is having like a panel.
Like there's elections, there's 3 positions coming up this year.
Yeah.
Okay, when is that, with filing date for that?
May.
So could we make some chamber time to for one of you to at least share a few minutes?
Sure.
Someone more, yeah, you.
So, I mean, I'm just throwing this out there, but I think we as a community need to be having that conversation. Like I said, if things are going well, people tend to just, take for granted the decisions that are being made, and, you kind of rest on your laurels, everything's fine, then bad decisions can be made, and having elected officials exist in a vacuum is never good for the community. You guys have to fight for yourselves.
So I think the idea of having a meeting, a group, just get together of everybody who they might be interested or whatever would be wonderful. Because you all know I have one night on a Thursday night. I get a lot of people.
Let's not do it on Thursday night when Joyce is all tuned up on. All right, let's do it. Hey.
What the heck? It might be fun.
Yeah.
So anyhow, and we all sit around, and there are some younger kids. Well, 40 is a kid.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Those young 50-year-olds.
So that would be really, really good. They have a lot of potential, but their comments are, I just am not. That's out of my. I don't know how to do that. It's out of my thinking. It's out of my range.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's not taught in school. It's not.
Yeah, I don't know how to do any of that, and Linda just beats the heck out of them. But I brought people into the chamber that go, I don't know about that, and they become some of our best board members.
Yeah, it's important work, and there's also there are personal benefits. That's how you sell people on things. Somebody comes in to buy a car, and you got to convince them how great it is for them. But there are personal benefits. You can learn a lot. If you're a professional and you want professional development opportunities, they're abundant. There's training that you can go to. There's all kinds of different skill sets that you get the opportunity to get access to that can make you a better whatever it is you do. So it's something that I would love to work with anyone on if you all are interested. So, any other questions? Sir?
Not a question, just a statement. Wayne, I just really appreciate your just diehard support of Tenino, of the schools. I've always appreciated our relationship. If there's ever an issue, you get back to me right away, and I try to do the same. But civic engagement is something that feels like you were talking about earlier, if you don't make investments in it, it'll slowly die. And we're seeing that time and again. And so your passion about that and making sure that we don't lose that as a community is critically important. So I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, no. But it takes all of us, when Joyce would remember, you guys, like 12 years ago, half these buildings had plywood on the windows. We cannot lose sight of that. And if we're not putting the energy in, that can happen again, and we can't allow that. So, that's it.
Thank you.
Can I take your speech?
Yes.
Okay, Port of Olympia District 4, Commissioner Maggie Sanders. And Commissioner Sanders, it's always good to see you and to hear from you, so you're on.
Thank you.
Love your shoes, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. It's always a pleasure to be here in my local community of Tenino. Today I'll be presenting about the Port of Olympia. The capital city port is a well-balanced port. Ports are allowed to operate 4 different businesses, and the Port of Olympia is unique because it is mid-sized and it does all 4. We own and operate an international shipping terminal located in Olympia, the Olympia Regional Airport located in Tumwater, Swantown Marina and Boat Works, and real estate holdings in Olympia, Lacey, and Tumwater. And all that we do with an environmental stewardship lens. So today, we're gonna be going over an overview of the port, projects in the works, exploring prospects, economics, and our small cities program, and how we're going forward. The Port of Olympia is a vital economic engine and community partner responsible for owning and operating an international marine terminal. Oh, I just spoke of those items, so sorry. The port is committed to sustainable practices, economic growth, and community engagement in ensuring prosperous future for our local region. The port's mission is to create economic opportunities and building community for all of Thurston County through responsible resource use. Our mission, vision, and goals are, I'm sorry, I printed these out and they're so dark.
Speak from the heart.
Here we go. Oh my gosh, okay. It's not coming up on here. So the port is recognized as a trusted community institution connecting Thurston County to the world, serving as a model of environmental sustainability and economic development. Our goals are to increase communities' understanding of the role, value, and limitations of the port in impacting local and greater Thurston County. We look at community assets, economic opportunities, and environmental stewardship. Your commission recently transitioned from a 3 to a 5-member commission representing the 5 districts throughout Thurston County. We have Jasmine Basavada, President of District 1, Maggie Sanders, Vice President, District 4, Sarah Tong, Secretary, District 5, and Amy Harding, District 3, and Commissioner Bob Isle, District 2. And we have a Port of Olympia Citizens Advisory Committee, and they are in charge of providing advice to the Port Commission on tasks as assigned by the Port Commission. The committee is made up of 16 volunteer citizens selected through an application process as determined by the Port of Olympia Commission. And we are currently looking at advertising and recruiting for 4 open positions, or no, I'm not sure how many positions, 6 positions. But the past POCAT projects included broadband initiative study, climate mitigation study, community solar reports, food trucks at the North Point report, dog park report, EV chargers, shore power, passenger multi-night ferry study, as well as office consolidation and public involvement. And we currently, I have here, if you would like to look at copies that I have of our Vision 2050 and our Strategic Plan 2025. And our Vision 2050 is a community-informed plan for the future. It was a guiding document as we continue to advance our mission. Vision 2050 both was a process and a product. The process engaged thousands of people in often overlooked and misunderstood role, functions, and potential of an institution that has been an integral part of our community development for over a century. The products reflects their shared goals and priorities for the decades to come. While Vision 2050 represents the Port's most comprehensive public engagement initiative to date, it's not the first time the Port has engaged the community in long-range planning. In 1995, a comprehensive plan, which included a visioning process, led to the formation of the Market District. Farmers Market, Port Plaza, Anthony's, Mercado, and Panowitz, and Dancing Goats. The development of Swantown Marina, Boatworks, the boat launch and parking, and the Billy Frank Jr. Trail, and the creation of the East Bay District. And space for hands-on children museum with a rail loop track for the marine terminal. The West Bay improvements including new wildlife areas and enhanced public access, and the recruitment of Tumwater's Comfort Inn and Guest House Inn, which is now newly renovated at the Hilton Spark and Holiday Inn Express, that I just attended the ribbon cutting of that event, which was really amazing opportunity to see the transformation of an investment in our community. Projects that are in the works are the second marine terminal warehouse that the commission recently approved, Dancing Goats building purchase that we just approved a purchase of that building to relocate our administrative offices to house all of our staff, saving the port thousands and thousands of dollars. The OCM expansion, the Bud Inlet cleanup, the Peninsula Integrated Master Plan, and the Bush Prairie Habitat Conservation Plan. And the prospects that we're exploring currently is electric ferries, a resource innovation zone with lot, and real estate opportunities in Tumwater and downtown Olympia. And the Bud Inlet cleanup restoration project is ongoing, and I'm excited to announce that we're going into our second phase of sediment sampling. And if you would like to learn more about the Bud Inlet cleanup and restoration project, you can scan the code there. And I also wanted to share that there's going to be a public observation day for the West Bay sediment sampling at the Port Plaza. Let me see, it doesn't list the date, but it will be coming up shortly and will be advertised, where you can attend information tables at the Port Plaza, where staff and the environmental team will be on site to answer questions. And you can RSVP at Karina@portofolympia.com. So we want to hear from you. The Port Peninsula Integrated Master Plan. We help to build a better day tomorrow for today. So please get informed. We have educational materials, feedback gathering. We have sign up to receive email updates, frequently asked questions. We have a hot topics blog. We love public input, and we're designing engagement opportunities in town halls to really engage our community members and provide opportunities to comment and be fully engaged in our master planning efforts. So we'll have webinars, surveys, tours, and open houses. So the economic impact annual estimate of full-time jobs are listed here with wages and the economic production, and it assumes full build out of option area and 8 buildings of the port. Property taxes annual estimate, you'll see the Port of Olympia with $52,276, which assumes the value of $112 per square foot. So you can see in conjunction with the other areas of the tax base. And this is my favorite part, is the Port Small Cities program. The Port Commission awards $10,000 in 2024 for community and economic development investments. And this marks the 14th year of support. And the small city recipients were Dakota, Rainier, Tenino, and Yelm.
Thank you.
Yes. And we were really excited to include Dakota, and so we did a resolution to support the unincorporated town of Dakota. So the intent of the program is to assist our South Thurston County projects that will contribute to the local economic development successes here in Tenino. And an example of support here is our local agriculture and business support. The port in 2018 provided $75,000 to begin the master planning of the ag park through partnership, participation, and promoting, working with the city of Tenino, EDC, and support from these other participants to help this amazing, I can't wait for the opening. I'm excited about that. And so the port also does a lot of events, the circus, concerts being held, and just numerous activities. Like Oli on Ice, we sponsor a lot of events in our community. And that's it. Any questions?
That's a lot. When you guys support the small cities, like you said that you guys spent the port allocated funds to get the master plan going for the ag park. That was one of the improvements, one of the contributions to the small cities of China. How does that work exactly? Like you guys get your money from the state taxes to run the port, and what does that have to do with the port? Like how do you pitch that?
So that's a really good question. I'm not sure where the $75,000 invested came from, the funding source rather. But the Port of Olympia does have small cities grants set aside funds that comes through in support of that. But because it is a tax based, it's a system that has to be gone through specifically in those dollar ranges. And so tax revenue is used for capital investments and environmental.
How far?
Can I help?
Yes.
So the money doesn't come from the state. The money, like if Meg goes back, it shows where your taxes go.
Okay.
And everybody in Thurston County pays the port. And the port exists to promote economic development within Thurston County. Several years ago, and it was long before Maggie, and it was at the initial beginning of kind of when I got into this stuff, we were like, well, what's the port doing for tonight? It's not the, it's the Port of Olympia. There's always kind of misunderstandings. The Port of Olympia is actually the Port of Thurston County. It's not the Port of Olympia. It is not just the waterway at the tip of personal landing or whatever. It is all these other things that Maggie's talking about. And the port collects money from everybody that owns property to promote economic development. If you look at other counties, they do it all kinds of different ways. There's some places, like Chelan Douglas, they don't have a port where boats come in. They have a port where just economic activity can occur. Some places have airports, some places, John will probably talk about spaceports someday that they'll be funding. But several years ago, and I was kind of poking my thumb in the rib. I was like, I want you to change the port of Tenino. There's no, change the port of Thurston County. And they're like, oh no, the country rubes are getting angry. We better come up with a program. So they started doing that small cities grant, like 10, 12 years ago. The first one we did, George Barner actually came with a giant cardboard check to the city council to present to us to make a big deal of it. And they've kept doing that to all these communities since then to kind of help make sure we're getting some money back from our investment. I still think it's a little small, but it's great. They were awesome in adding Rochester this last year, even though Rochester is not an incorporated city, they're now eligible. And then the money for the planning for the ag park, that was just Aslan, one of Aslan's first jobs when he went to the EDC was the port started, they commissioned this study with the EDC to look at the economic environment, and then everybody's like, oh wow, ag is a big deal for Thurston County, but it's kind of underrepresented and it's not really supported and promoted. And then they funded more money into look into that. It came out in these studies that it was actually a big part of our economy, and we needed to build it up. And that's where I kind of came in. I was like, I know where you can do that. And so then the port was like, oh yeah, we'll invest in that. And then we went to the state. The state's like, I'll invest in that. And the feds will invest in that. And we'll get loans on that. And it's just years and years and years of building on that.
Yeah, I didn't understand that because I thought, okay, the port is in charge of its surrounding land and the business that comes in through.
Initially, the proposal that I was putting out there was I wanted that land, that 12 acres, whatever, I wanted the port to like, well, not buy it, they bought it for like $1. I wanted them to take it and make it theirs. And, because it's essentially built and designed like a port facility where the public owns the land and the buildings on top of it that are owned by the businesses. So initially it was like, hey, port, will you do this for us? And the port at the time, they were doing other things. They were building a warehouse in Lacey and they didn't have the capacity or the interest. And so we guilted them into the 75 grand instead. But they've been great partners on it.
Great.
But
Thank
just
you
to
for-
clarify, it's not just tax that they get.
No, I got that.
They have businesses that are generating funds.
Yeah.
That go back to the port.
Economic development.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're landowners, you know, like a leaseholder. They've got all kinds of leases they generate money from, but your taxes go to it.
Got it. Thank you for explaining that.
Yes, you said something about a Billy Frank Trail in Port Olympia.
Yes.
Where's that at? Where does it start pointing?
So the starting point is over by Swantown Marina, and it ends over towards KBY building.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's a beautiful trail, and we just installed signs about the local birds that are in the Port Peninsula area that fly.
Is it marked?
Yes.
Billy Frank Trail?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So I just want to recognize Maggie because she comes to Tenino Chamber, she goes to Grand Mountain Rochester Chamber, she attends our steady meetings, she's been very engaged in all of our rural communities since she became a commissioner, so thank you for doing that. You have a question, John?
Yeah, not really a question, but a little statement. First off, I want to thank the port for the $10,000 that the museum has. It's still just a little bit short. We've got one bid in for our roof. It looks like we need about 4,000 more. We'll find it someplace. Thank you very, very much. That's a major part of what's going into that roof for the Tickner School Building. It's been there, we figured about 27 years, so the roof does need to be replaced. The other part is what Wayne was talking on earlier is a great example. She's new. There's a whole lot of stuff that happens in the port that she doesn't quite know yet because she hasn't had time in seat. But where the port is going to lose Amy, she's already said that she's not going to run again. I don't know about the rest of the people on the port commission. We need to find people that have, if they even just have an interest in what's going on and where they live, to come in. All the other parts about learning what's happening will come. It's not that difficult. At least it wasn't for me. I find it to be, but then again, I'm a geek anyway. I like the history. I like learning how to help people, all that kind of stuff, and where to find things to help people. So please talk to me. If you don't feel comfortable talking to us, find somebody else. We got a lot of elected people here that you can talk to about these positions to see if there's something that fits who you are that will help where you live. Wayne's heard me say this many times. You know, I'm in all these other different commissions. That what is it, $3 now for a cup of coffee? Gets me a bottomless cup of coffee. But what it does, it gives me a knowledge base of what I can do here. The key to any of the elected seats is learning. If you find an elected official that gets so set in their ways that they're not learning anymore, then it's time to replace them. It's that simple. But you gotta love where you live. This is my home. This is where it brought up my God. You guys got to take that mantle now, because this is my last year.
Okay, thank you very much. And thank you so much, Commissioner, for coming today and spending time and for the times that you do come here. Thank you. Billy Frank Jr. has come up with both of you two here, so I have to share a personal experience. My daughter-in-law wrote the book on Billy Frank Jr. for the Secretary of State's office, and I think somebody should pay for her to fly back from Ohio so she can come and visit me and be there for when that statue is put in the Capitol building. So,
I said, I motion the chamber pays for the.
So, and the other thing is, as far as people being on city council, I think that you should change it so that business member owners can be chamber members, because most of the owners don't live in the city, and it's a dang good thing that I don't live in this city. Because you might have to vote for me, Wayne.
I would vote for you for anything.
Okay, so we're getting slow on time, so we're gonna really rush through everybody's what's going on. But before we do, is there, please enter your events onto the Tenino Chamber website. And I think we pretty much all of us here are familiar with the Tenino Chamber website and going through that and doing the things necessary in order to make that a viable product for the community. So, any announcements that are not in the D through H here from the forum attendees? John?
Sure, I got a big mouth. I don't need a mic. I attended the museum meeting. I'm starting to do that again. And one of the things that we brought up, and we're looking forward to doing something during Oregon Trail Days, is to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the move of the museum to where it is now. We also need more members to help with that. So if you live around here, you love the area, you want to know more about Tenino, there's a whole lot in there. For example, when I used to give tours, one of the things that I would point out is that in Tenino's museum, we actually have the very first working model of what eventually became an iPod. Yeah, it's called a dictaphone. we have several. It's a recording device. Okay. So we actually have the very first working model. Like that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? James?
Bill, do you want to say something about the property?
May I?
Yeah.
Well, I got, I'm Bill Lanker with the Tenino Stone Carvers. But I got some good news last night and this morning that Park has voted to go ahead with funding to purchase Zero Park Avenue, which is right to the west of the Tickner School, for the Tenino Stone Carvers to build a building to engage with the public.
Wow.
That's been going on for 2 years.
Is that triangular piece across from the right
Across from Keith's house, which makes
Across
it
from
even
Keith's
cooler.
house. Exactly, so.
We're gonna build a bridge.
It's not that triangular piece along the Park side, Park Street.
Okay.
On the other side of the trail.
Okay, that's what yeah.
It is
two
triangular,
pieces, yeah.
the one we got.
That's awesome.
But yeah, we're hoping to bring more foot traffic to the museum and more people to Tenino, and we've got a big few years in front of us. So thank you.
So I think that's superb. Does that mean I get my shed back?
Talk to Tony.
Okay. So something that you just said, go ahead, Dave.
So on most Fridays, definitely this Friday, Castle Realty is inviting Radiant Health Chiropractic to come and see the Radiant Health Chiropractic's main office is in Hawks Prairie. They come down to Castle Realty in Tenino to meet the South County patients that they already see, but they are also willing to see new patients. So if you guys know anybody who was thinking of getting some, immunity boost from chiropractic or for their general health, Dr. Avery here would see them in the office Friday afternoons, 12 to 5.
Yep.
So it's just, you can call Radiant Health and schedule a time to come in, and you don't have to drive all the way to Hawks Prairie.
We won't make you buy a house.
You will make them buy a house, or it'll be a problem.
Well, I'm waiting for my, I better not say that.
Pause the recording. I want to hear what she was gonna say.
Yeah. James?
I'm also with the Olympia Host Alliance, but District 19 has a low vision resource center in Olympia, and it's for people with vision problems, and they have a whole bunch of equipment in there. I think we got about 60 monitors with, where you can slide a book underneath and pulls it up so you can read it and everything, loaned out in the community, and it's a district project. But we're gonna have a 5K, 10K Stride for Sight run, April 12th, out at, on the Chehalis Western, starting at the Horizon Middle School in Lacey. And because we have to pay for rent for our building now. We used to not have to rent, but we're big enough now, we have to get a building and everything, so we have to pay for that, so we gotta get money coming in.
Okay, great, thanks.
Jenny?
Anybody else?
Yeah.
Jenny?
You want to talk about the theater? You're not the theater.
Okay, well, I'm gonna talk about just a couple things. Tenino Young at Heart Theater has, Disney's Little Mermaid is the show this summer. So, yeah.
Venus, have you chosen your mermaid?
Follow the social media and also on the website, for auditions in May, but it's open for all abilities, all levels. So it's gonna be a really fun one, and that'll be at the end of July, into August. Tenino Arts, of course, has a spring market coming up, in the Kodiak Room. And this year, we've got some extra things planned. The 1776 bar is going to be open with specialty drinks, focusing on the St. Patty's Day fun.
And then come back inside.
And then, yeah, so if you really don't want to shop, but you're with someone who does want to shop, you have a place to go and relax and enjoy. We'll also be serving, some tea and coffee and cocoa. And Tenino Young at Heart Theater is also going to be preparing a few little 10-minute shows. Just some little mini drama or music. I'm not sure exactly what the schedule is going to be. And we're hoping to have at least 3 of those each day, but the schedule will be posted. But that's going to be kind of a fun little thing where you can just go in for a little bit of entertainment there. But we will also be having live music with Ross Robinson is playing Friday and Sunday, and then we have the Celtic Shamrock Band will be there on Saturday. So we really need people to share the Facebook event or invite friends or just really post things about it for the next month on a continuous basis. We need that engagement. We've got posters, larger posters, in the box over there. If you have a window of a business that you can take it to or a place to post them, please pick some up. That saves us a lot of miles. And Jennifer, do you have anything else? No, about that? No. So
Yes. I was just gonna quick go over and have a drink at 1776. Hopefully it loosens the card out of the pocketbook a little bit, and then go shopping.
Yeah.
Shameless.
Yeah.
Everybody go
Shameless. Yeah. We have 35 amazing artists. Several new artists will be at the show this time. But as Wayne has mentioned, creative economy matters. And what we want to do is we want to bring people to Tenino from outside. They can spend their dollars. There's sales tax that gets paid to the city, so it all really helps. But we need every single person to help promote it to bring the people in.
Okay, and speaking of the creative district, I have a guy he lives off of Case Road. He's a chainsaw carver, and he has carved absolutely beautiful animals and signs that I have at my store right now. He's young, cute, and just the nicest guy in the whole world. And so stop by the store and see who our new artist is that we're carrying at our store. And I wish more of the stores would do something like that, or your organizations to promote local artists.
Nate, did you want to remind everybody that you're the regional manager now? And
Yeah, so I'm the regional manager for Yelm, Tenino, and Tumwater. So for the library, so I engage with everyone in kind of South Thurston. So I'm excited to kind of work with everyone. Some of you guys I'm on steady, and I work with a few of you guys, but on civics, I'm game to host something at the library after hours. Obviously, there's plenty of spaces, but I'd love to host something at the library to encourage people to come out and maybe just meet with people and just get comfortable. Sometimes being in the city council chambers can be a little intimidating, but like the library is always game.
Maybe those other ones, but not tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Tenino's different though. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, thank you. You have one more?
I have
Jane?
one more, I forgot. The art teacher at the high school had sent me some information. The Tenino High School District is having a Night of the Arts, and it's their first one, but it's February 26th, which is a Wednesday from 6 to 8. And I'm just gonna read it because I don't know, but they have student artwork and sculpture showcase. They're gonna have entertainment from the student performers. There's gonna be refreshments provided, and it's gonna be at the Tenino High School for a first ever. So I think it's really important that it's not just parents, but the community also goes to promote and support the young artists. So I posted it on the Tenino Arts page, and it's also on the district page. So anyways, that's on the 26th.
Okay, thank you.
I want to announce one more thing, Joyce.
Okay.
The city of Tenino, and in partnership with the chamber, we're going to be hosting all the Washington State Creative Districts. They're coming here on June 5th and 6th. We're going to have a reception out at the Ag Park on the 5th, which is a Thursday, and the 6th they have all day. We're trying to get them to stay over on the 7th as well. And so we would like to have some of you involved with that. We have a committee that's working on it, but for sure put the 5th in the afternoon for the reception to be able to be there with us to showcase, and we're going to showcase all of the creative districts that we have.
That's a big deal. Yes, to me, that is just outstanding. I mean, the whole state, the people representing all of the states are coming here to Tenino. If you do, so that's great. Bill.
This is a little far out as an event, but, well, Jenny knows about this, but we're planning on having the stone carvers are planning on having the Northwest Stone Sculpture Association down again on June 14th and blocking off the area in front of the shed there. Tentatively being called the Stone City Arts Fest.
We'll have to talk about that.
Yeah, that's cool. But it's all happening because of a lodging grant. Well, last year we did it on a shoestring, but this year we have a little bit of backing, thanks to Wayne and the lodging.
Wayne, how do I get money for this? Well, Bill,
Exactly. We're one of those people that need helped out, so would have thrown that out there too.
Okay, so put the date again, the date.
Ours is the 5th and 6th.
5th and 6th on
June.
your calendars. And you can see all the rest of the things down below. Do we need to talk about any of those? But I do want to talk about April 16th is our evening chamber forum here at the Sandstone. So we'll have it in the evening, and Cheryl has things planned for us to do, and instead of during the day, we'll have our evening meetings, so the businesses that can't come during, and the people that can't come during the day at noon will be able to attend that. Okay, anything further? Look at this, I didn't even go 5 minutes over time, George.